What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Henshin Gate. I'm Jared.
Rhyan here. I'm Kevin.
Apparently. Alright, we are here to review Power Rangers Hyper Force, episodes 2 and 3.
Well, you guys are going to do 2 and 3. I'm going to do 2 and 17.
Well, you know enough, so yeah, don't worry about that. Ryan, you feel ready?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So in my notes, where we left off in episode 1, the Rangers headed back in time. They were, well, let's say, wet behind the ears. Because they are from the Time Force Academy from the year 3016. They were being taught under Jen Scott. And
or from the Time Force Academy. Yep.
Oh, yeah. But now they're facing this new evil organization called the Alliance. And they traveled back to the year 1994, era of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. With the help they are being assisted by Alpha 55, who we're going to be talking about later or throughout this video. And yeah, we left off where we were wondering where exactly in 1994 they left off. Because you see here in my background more Power Rangers, in which this is the beginning of Season 2, i.e. 1994, with Green Ranger. Now we were debating, was Green Ranger, post-Green Ranger, White Ranger, or with the new three, Rocky, Aisha, and Adam. So, lo and behold, they land in the year 1994, they land in October 31st. So, they landed...
Halloween.
So, yeah, Halloween. They landed in Halloween. So, to be more specific on that day, I don't know if it's actually following this Power Ranger continuity, but not only did it land on Halloween, it landed for that specific episode was... Where is that? I have that note somewhere. Oh, here it is. It is the Power Ranger Season 2 episode, Zed's Monster Mash. And that is right when the White Ranger is been integrated into the team. So, White Ranger is now leader. Got Jason, Zach, Trini, Billy, and Kimberly. But nowhere to be... Assumingly, but I think they're within that episode. That's why they're not seen here in Hyperforce. Here's what made it a little bit more interesting. Since they were filming episode 2 on Halloween, each actor for the show was dressed up. And my notes.
Yep.
Red Ranger Marv, played by Peter Sudarso, was dressed as Mugen from Samurai Champloo. So it was so fitting. Paulie was a Shogun samurai warrior, more looking like Kamarada Gaim. But he was a yellow Shogun warrior, so I'd say Kachidoki form. Christina V, she was dressed as a black dog. With, she was more of a Dalmatian on the headband, but basically she was wearing black. Strawberry 17, she was a pink karate cat. And Andre was just a regular old superhero wearing blue. But with the nice little touches of a red face bandana and yellow cape. So they are in 1994. They are in Halloween with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers there. Let's see, where are my notes? Actually, before we even get into my notes, what did you guys think of the Halloween aesthetic for the episode?
Oh man, it was fun. They dressed up. It's kind of funny how they did that little thing, like, what is this thing? And then they're like trying to explain or figure out what the heck is Halloween.
Yeah, right. Because to them, it's just an old pagan holiday ritual.
Well, kind of to us, it's an old pagan holiday ritual.
Yeah, that is. That's what made it even more funny. That's ironic. Uh,
They did research.
yeah, yeah, mostly with Eddie because he is a main. He's just I have my notes. He's just a major history buff, especially everything Power Ranger related. He just knows everything.
That is a benefit for them in case they do time jump again.
Oh yeah, which makes it more ironic how in Super Mega Force the Blue Ranger was a Ranger buff just because in that season they had to learn all about their Ranger predecessors because they had all their powers. But at least,
That is true.
like, I guess in Super Mega Force it didn't make sense because it's like, why are you on the school computer looking up Power Ranger footage?
Sensitive information.
It's like you're on school computer. Their Wi-Fi can see what the hell you're looking at. So it's like you're putting your Ranger team in. I'm surprised no one found out. But
no, think about it. If a new Ranger team comes out, you're going to want to learn about everyone else.
yeah, but why would you learn it on your school's computer?
Because he's the smart one of the group, so I'm assuming he can encrypt his shit.
Yeah. They didn't explain it though. That makes more sense that coming out of your mouth than how they wrote it. Although, ironically enough, the one who wrote that episode was Jason Smith, the Red Jungle Fury Ranger. But I don't even think that was up to him in the final talks. But I mean, it was a good episode of Super Mega Force. I guess I just have that little problem. Why would you be on the school's computer? But maybe they couldn't. They didn't have time. They didn't have enough time to put that in the episode because they had to rush through things because everything in current seasons are a little bit rushed. But you did bring a good point right there for that character. But I guess here it makes more sense because these are Time Force Rangers and they know history from not just Time Force, but they know about Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo, all that stuff. Probably even the Sentai Rangers that they called New Powers. Yeah.
You mean Power Rangers bring on the new powers?
That's the last we'll ever talk about that. Moving on, with Eddie being such a major history buff, he knew how to dress them in 90s attire, which I had to write down because it brought a smile to my face when Eddie decided to wear his pants backwards like the hip-hop duo Crisscross.
And don't forget the baggy clothing.
Oh, and I was one of them kids wearing baggy clothes. That made me feel good.
Oh dear God, you're one of them.
It was the 90s. Deal with it.
I have. We all have.
I was barely.
Oh man.
We didn't have like the mental capacity to care.
Yeah, but oh man, so they had the team dressing up in 90s apparel so that they could blend in. And well, what I've learned about the characters so far is that Chloe loves to eat, alongside of her being such a klepto.
Well, there's always that one person in the campaign group that's a klepto.
I'm guessing that's you in your usual D&D campaigns.
Ryan, am I?
No, not exactly.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
He's being a little subtle by saying yes, but okay. Okay, so what we've also learned about the teams that Marv used to work with Jack, and there's a lot to that. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna really get to that. Let me see. The ship. We learned that the ship that they're using can hyper jump, so like they can go through time, which is way cool. Also learned that Vesper, she's a badass. Like I think I can't think of a character that is tough as Vesper. Like it's on the tip of my tongue.
Time for saying that.
Yeah. That's why Vesper, she aspires to be like Jen. She adores Jen. You know, so you're right. I was thinking of Yellow Rangers, but there have been many badass Yellow Rangers, but yeah, Jen stands out of them all as a Ranger. So, being in 1994, Mighty Morphin Time, where do you think is the first place these teams, or well, this team of Rangers are going to go?
US Mark.
You say that again? Say that again to let everybody know?
The juice bar?
The juice bar! They hit up the Angel Grove Youth Center and Juice Bar. And since this is Halloween, and I did go back and watch that episode of Dead Monster Mash today, you had Billy there dressed as Albert Einstein. Kimberly, I think she was like a fairy princess or something. Tommy was a rental pirate out of the he was a rental pirate of the Caribbean. No throwing shade at JDF. It's just the costume guys had him wear that. And I think he was wearing like green pants with his white shirt. Because initially, during that time of the beginning of White Ranger's career, he was still wearing hints of green, transitioning into full white. He was wearing white, but he was also wearing green with the white, so it's like trying to fully transition to just being White Ranger. But yeah, so they're there. But before they even got there, Chloe had plasma cuffs on her, thanks to Jack, and after taking them off, they left some weird side effect on her. She felt like a little dazed and confused, if I can remember that correctly, but that's what I wrote down. But yeah, they hit up the juice bar, but before they even hit up the juice bar, they hit up a Halloween store, I believe. If I have that right in my notes. They hit up a Halloween store trying to use, or what they call togs, which is here in reality pogs.
But you stole those costumes.
Oh, they practically just stole them, but the dude didn't even care, because it's like, it's Halloween. These things are going to be trashed by tomorrow. So I was like, yeah, you know what, take it. I don't care. But they had to work for it.
Kind of how most things happen in Dungeons & Dragons things. They're either skate floor with favors, or they're just outright.
See, I wish we could have that. I wish we could have that kind of currency. It's like, help around the store, get some costumes. I'll be like, all right, bet. I'll take that Power Ranger costume once I'm done fixing up the shelves and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. But back to where they hit up the juice bar, they are trying to find out where this mystery time ship is at. We lost Ryan.
What? Give me a second. Okay, I'm back.
There you are. So while they're trying to find the time ship, they're like, we're looking for a guy named Steve. He's from Stone Canyon. So this guy, who they described wearing a shirt with no sleeves and had the armpit holes dragged down a bit, which was proper for 90s attire back then. It was proper attire. Ooh, got the end credits of Mighty Morphin in the background. Going to the next episode. So they're like, I'm from the guy, sleeveless mid shirt, dude, sleeveless shirt guy goes, I'm from Stone Canyon, which made me think, is that Rocky? Because they're like, your name's Steve? He's like, yeah, my name's Steve. So I'm thinking, is that a nod to Steve Cardenas as Rocky? Because he's also from Stone Canyon? But it can't be because it can't be because they're not introducing the series until a few days later. So, I mean, it probably is like a little reference, like a little throwaway reference, but I like that little subtle nod. Before we go, shout out to Steve Cardenas, the Red Ranger. Very, very underrated as a Red Ranger. I actually liked him in Mighty Morphin, but that's just me. Moving on from that.
I said, just work better as blue. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Moving on, Eddie at the juice bar meets Ernie. And that made me happy. I was like, Ernie's back. Even though the actor who played Ernie sadly passed away a number of years ago. And I didn't know that until I started getting back into Power Rangers. But my story behind, what I'm into Power Rangers now, we'll save that for another day. Moving on from that, on TV, they spot the mystery ship that they were looking for. And the reporter asks, where are the Power Rangers? Which I can actually answer that a little bit. I'll explain later why it's a little bit of iffy situation on that, but from
I know where they are.
No, Kevin. Shh. No spoilers. We're gonna give them. So
all right.
the episode Zed's Monster Mash the Rangers were not really on Earth. They were in like some sort of pocket dimension, facing old monsters that they already had defeated, like the
Oh, I
pumpkin,
remember.
like the pumpkin wrapper and that goat. Basically, Zed was just bringing back Rita's monsters just so that the behind the scenes they can use the Geo2 footage.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, oh, it was like, oh man, that was like so the Rangers were busy off on somewhere else taking care of business, so that's why they couldn't really deal with this mystery ship.
Okay, I see.
So as they see that on TV, they have to go check it out. A nice little nod here too. Eddie was leaving. As he was leaving, he was telling Ernie like, "Yo, Ernie, this pineapple concoction, forgot what kind of smoothie it was. It was like a pineapple infused smoothie, and he's like, I think it was like pineapple mango. I don't know. I think
Pineapple peach.
Pineapple peach.
Yeah, I think it was peach. Yeah.
Yeah, pineapple peach. Sorry, I got Comrade Gaim in my mind. I think pineapple. I think I go straight to mango. But he's like, yo, Ernie, this pineapple peach smoothie is like the bomb. It's Reaganomics. And then they're just like, yo, we gotta go, Eddie. Time to go. Like, yo, Ernie, make more of these. Make more of these. I gotta go. I'm adding 5,000. I was like, oh, Andre, his little catchphrase. That was a nice little touch because it actually fits with 90s lingo a bit. A bit. And I actually probably have said that once or twice in my childhood. So
Your Audi 5000?
I've said that once or twice, yeah. But that's neither here or there. So they go outside because they run into putties, and they have to run to fight.
Yep.
And the only reason why they ran into putties is because they were looking for the park, and that's why they're like, oh, we're going to look for the park. We're new here. We're from Stone Canyon, hence the whole Stone Canyon reference from before. So they're going into fight, and if you guys watch Power Rangers Hyper Force, you'll hear in the background music. And the background music they were using to fight was the Power Rangers Zord instrumental.
Ah, nice catch.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I like that. And then, unfortunately for Chloe, she was being a little gluttonous, was eating too much Halloween candy, started feeling a little sluggish from that. And I'm just like, oh.
My God, those terrible rolls. Oh God.
Yeah.
They had too much.
That's what you get. But I mean, at the same time, they don't really experience that kind of stuff in the year 3000. So I mean, you're trying to enjoy it while you can. But I think she enjoyed way too much. Keep her away from the Long Island iced teas when she's 21. Keep her away from that. Oh, right. And then they finally morph. I made some notes on their morph.
Officially.
All right. What do you guys think of their morph before we go on from there?
The cards in the thing, right?
Yeah. Okay. I liked it a lot. Which I saw when they like the helmets pop up in front of the screen. The way it looked like it was straight out of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, where all the Rangers' helmets would just pop up instead of just Red Rangers like all the time. The only reason why Red Rangers popped up last when he would say Tyrannosaurus was because of the Jew Ranger footage. They would go Dino, Buckla, and then you see Red Ranger's mask, and then they would go into fight.
Yep.
So that's one reason why that was like that. So they took that, used it in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, was like, they go White Ranger Power, Black Ranger Power, Pink Ranger Power, then you see all of their masks pop up on screen. And that's what Hyper Force did. And I was like, oh, I see what you did there. I like that. But also, with that morph sequence, it also looked like something else. I think. Let's see if I can remember where I wrote that down. Right. The morph sequence, when they do the thing with the card and they put the whole thing in the front of the face, it looked like it was straight out of Go Busters, which, ironically enough, their morph embrace was a nod to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Really?
And then the brace goes, "It's morphin' time!" And then they would have the brace in front of their face. And that's what they did here with Hyperforce. Like, they had the brace in front of their face, mask pops up, and then goes to the screen like Mighty Morphin Season 3. So it's like, it's a Mighty Morphin reference to a Go Busters reference to another Mighty Morphin reference.
And back to another Go Buster.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I mean, I guess that's just the Sentai Power Ranger nerd in me looking at that. But I think because Peter is also a Sentai fan along with Power Rangers, he also liked Go Busters, which I have explained on the channel before. So I could see that being the reason why it's like that. And if Go Busters was a season, I could see Peter being the Red Ranger for that season.
That would be amazing. He has the energy, man.
He's got it. But okay, we got through there more, which we gushed about that. Let me see. Right, and then the big monster of the week comes, and it's
dear God.
It's Halloween themed, but thank God it's not rapping.
What's the problem with it rapping?
Do you remember the pumpkin rapper?
No.
Do you remember how his rhymes were weak as all hell?
What?
He had no flow.
He had no flow. He had nothing. He made Wu-Tang face palm for days. He's like, oh my God. Other than that, this Halloween themed monster was a candy corn monster. I forgot the name of that monster, but it was like candy corn.
Yes, something corn. Something.
One moment.
Eventually. Kevin.
What's it called? Candious for now. Candious corn, yes.
Something like that.
His name was Candius Cornicus.
That's it. Candius Cornicus.
Cornicus. Okay.
But,
something. There we go.
And they had some interesting attacks. I don't remember the names of, but they were very, very interesting. And it made me really, 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 really want to play this game. But we're gonna get to that later as well. I feel like How I Met Your Mother.
How?
Exactly. Because like everything we're explaining, we have to explain later. But like I said, they met the leader of the Alliance, who we find out he took out the rest of the Time Force Rangers. That's why you only see Jen. But now he took out Jen. But he hasn't taken out Wes yet. That's probably going to be one of his missions, is to take out Wes, because he's still a Time Force Ranger. Him and Eric are still Time Force Rangers. We also learned in episode 2 that Marv was a Time Force officer. But since Jack was a beat cop for Time Force, he has a badge he can use to arrest. He tried to arrest, but it failed. During this game session, they were all rolling like 1s and 2s, so they were already having an off beat. But it also played well into the story, and the game master had way, way too much power. Made me fear her a little bit.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. No, that's how it is in most games. But one kind of good thing I thought about with the whole them rolling that, it sort of fits into the story that, they're a new team.
Yeah, I thought that too. That fits so well.
New Rangers.
They're the new Rangers. And so, because of that, they retreated, but Jack got badly hurt after trying to arrest the leader. He was just...
Mark, he almost got destroyed too.
We're gonna get to that.
What? People saw it, they know.
Yeah, I know. That's whoever saw it. Oh, so they retreated with Jack badly injured, and the ship is under attack by the enemy ship. And would you know it? The episode leaves on a cliffhanger.
With Jack on the bedside.
And all you hear Episode ends. Oh, it hit you. It hit you. It's like, will Jack live or will he die? It's episode 2, so we all know the answer. This is probably... Well, no, wait. Rangers have died before. Never mind.
Yeah, but going into a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game, I think most people would agree with me. It's not a game master's plan to kill a character, but if they do die, he's probably not dead. Like, knowing how, as a game master myself, I wouldn't kill you guys off in the second encounter.
Okay, so... but yeah, so he's dead. And then there are no Mighty Morphin Rangers at all. I was thinking they would show up, but they have not. That actually made me a little sad. Oh boy, we got getting comments and whatnot here.
Well, so far we just don't know if they've been attacked yet, or who knows what happened, or they just never showed up yet.
No, it's well, like I said, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna explain what's up with the Mighty Morphin Rangers. Let me just make sure I got all my notes here correct. Alright, so. Yeah, alright. So, we are on episode 3 now. And
Yes.
most of you guys... Well, you guys have played Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot. So the way I explain it... Well, I'm going to explain this episode. You guys will basically catch on pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so. In episode 3, they start back off with the Rangers are trying their damnedest to revive Jack. Like they're rolling as much as they can to save him, and they barely just rolled enough to save him. So he's alive, but he's in bad condition.
I mean, that personally happened to us. Our cleric, when we were playing, he got a lot of high rolls, like when it came to healing him, which was fairly good.
Didn't all but one of our team fell asleep, and he was the only one that survived?
Did he?
Yeah, he was the only, because we were put under a sleep cast. It was a strong one too, and he had a strong enough.
Will.
What was it called?
Will.
Willpower to stay awake compared to all of us. So he had to fend for himself a little bit, until we woke up.
Yeah.
Holy.
I remember that. I remember a little bit of that.
So, well, with Jack barely living, Eddie, Vesper, and Chloe go to the battle stations in the ship so they can fend off the Alliance trying to kill him. Jack stays with no, not Jack. Marv stays with Jack because he feels really bad, and then like Jack is alive, but he's like heavy. He's out. He's like knocked out. So Marv just apologizes and forgives Jack for what he did. And then he has to go to his battle station. And unfortunately, within that attack, their time travel mechanism breaks. But, luckily enough, our man Jack is back. Not quoting Samurai Jack, although he was dressed as a samurai. He was dressed as a samurai.
See? You're already quoting it.
He's back, and he goes back into action and morphs.
Ooh, okay.
And they had a vortex cannon, and they combined their power and just blast. Well, before they do that, Vesper as well morphs because she powered down, but she morphs back up, and they combine their weapons and blast the Alliance. But obviously, the Alliance leader, he is so OP. He sucked their energy. What bad guy has done that before? A lot of them. We ain't got time to really list down villains that have sucked up, their energies. We'll be here all night.
Which is something we can't do.
No. Yeah, pretty much. After that, the game master MALIKA. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. She explains the description of how the Alliance leader looks like. And what I got, he had some burned scars. what I thought immediately was Anakin from Episode 3 when he first became Darth Vader. I thought that right away, but that's also because I've been listening to John Williams music for the past 2 weeks, and I just been listening to Star Wars, especially Episodes 1 and 3. I've been listening to their music nonstop because they're just amazing. So, quick shout out to John Williams. If he ever orchestrated for Power Rangers, that would be the best thing ever. So
it'll be interesting.
Oh, definitely interesting. So if John Williams can get contracted to orchestrate for the Power Rangers sequel, perfect. Because they can't afford him for a Power Ranger season. Let's be honest. But moving on. They do like this alliance leader. He's badly burned, but he's not invincible. He can be hurt. They just got to figure out how, because these are still a new set of Rangers. They have to really get themselves powered to really get to him. And what they learned from Alpha 55 scanning them is that the wounds that Jack got. Oh, and forgot to mention in Episode 2, Marv as well got a little bit injured because he was running in head first. He wasn't thinking. He was just going in there attacking, and he got his ass kicked.
That reminds me of someone.
Hey!
I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about Mark.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that one time.
Yeah. I was about to say, I felt offended, because I do that all the time. But we're not talking about me.
You tackled a garbage monster and suplexed it.
Wait, he did or I did?
Mark did.
Oh. That sounds like something I would do.
It does sound like something you do.
It's probably something I did do. I don't remember. But, so yeah, from the scans, Alpha 55 notes that Jack's wounds aren't, had like lightning effect on him. So it's like they were like magic. There's like a magic wound. And they didn't really know how to handle it, but they did note that there was possibly a way to really figure it out. Because they have been there were Power Rangers that used magic.
That is true.
Yeah, and
that's interesting.
Yeah, there were Power Rangers that used a bit of magic, and I'm not just talking about Mystic Force. They had a little bit of kung fu magic. Just saying, throwing that out there. Yeah, a little bit of magic everywhere in Power Rangers. Ooh. Got more Power Rangers playing in the background on my Netflix. Let me see what else is here. Who's that over there? Do we have a special? Oh, it's Mark. Welcome to the show, Mark. Hi. Now we're just going through Hyper Force Episode 3 to catch you up.
Okay.
All right, there we go. We're all caught up. And they ask about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is what is weird, because I already explained that they're in this realm, this timeline, because their ship is badly damaged, and they land in the year. They're still in the year 1994, but they land in the next day after Halloween, November 1st.
Okay.
They're in this timeline. They're in season 2. You see Lord Zed, the most badass villain ever, in my background. So it says here that the Power Rangers are off planet. So it's like, okay, they could be, dealing with that whole Halloween fiasco they did have to deal with, or something else, which I will talk about in a minute. But,
Well, I know where they are off planet.
Don't say it, Mark! I wrote it down. I wrote this down. That's the theories we're going to actually go about afterwards. So, they find these pocket dimensions in the ship. They're stuck. But Jack had the idea to have it submerged in a pond so that they can't be detected. So they have to get the ship repaired. They need to fix their hyperdrive so they can do their thing.
Yep.
And while they're doing that, Marv and Eddie go and train because they'll leave little pocket dimension rooms for them to train and hone their skills. So days have
Definitely
passed.
need it.
Days pass and they train, and that we're back at the Marv and Chloe go into the pocket dimension. They train. They learn these new little combat moves. Like they see the giant monster and what they did. That they morphed. They do these little special attacks where Marv just blazes up and goes boom right through one eye of the giant monster, and Chloe goes to the other eye, doing like a little Phoenix tornado kick. So, like I said, the moves they use in this game is very, very interesting, and I would want to play this as a real board game. But we're gonna talk about that at the end. So like, right now, I also noted that how Alpha 55 acts way too much like Alpha 5, like doing the I dance and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a little scan to find a certain villain from this time period. And, so they have to go. They have to find a certain villainess.
Really? Oh.
Really? And her name is Scorpina.
Interesting.
Because you gotta remember, she was actually in season 2, so she was still around. Ramses are busy. They have to find Scorpina because she has been asked to join the alliance by the leader.
Oh, shiz.
And and the days have passed while the Rangers were just on the ship. Vesper built a time skip device, which was interesting, and also with Eddie's help, she and him made new weapons for the team. And the funny part about it, that some of the parts for this weapon were used, some of the parts came from Alpha 55's ankles. So that was a nice little funny moment. It was like, what? What happened to my ankles? No wonder I felt a little breeze when I powered down.
Those monsters.
it was funny, but so they have to make note of where our theories will lie, because I just jumped the gun. And it also is noted that the weapons have 2 modes. I can't really remember all the modes right now, but obviously with Jack being the big dude, he is a cannon. Chloe has scythes and a bow, and I can't remember everyone else's. No, Blue Eddie, he has a trident.
Ooh.
And I think Marv might have a sword just because he's Red Ranger.
They usually have swords.
And Vesper had like a hammer like thing. So I have to probably go back to the episode, but if you the audience, you watch Hyperforce, please let us know in the comments, or Hyper RPG, let us know, please, the weapons, because those just sounded really cool. Moving on, so they have to locate Scorpina, and the only way they know who she is because Alpha 5 had her and had like a hologram information about her, and Eddie, knowing his Ranger history, he's like, oh, I know, I've heard of this villain. Her name's Scorpina. She was during this time period working with Rita Repulsa. So, good on Eddie for knowing that. So what they do first is they had to check they were debating whether to check the library or the park for Scorpina, because they know how she disguises herself and will control her victim's mind, make them do whatever she wants. So most of them, it was basically like they were like, oh, we all know what we're thinking, so at the count of 3, we're all gonna say what we're thinking to check. Like 1, 2, 3. Some said park, some said library. They were all off, but they're a new team, so
that happens a lot too.
So like they weren't on sync. So they all decided to check in the library for Scorpina. They they notice how quiet it is, and since they're from the future, they see all these old books, an old computer monitor, and Jack, being the big gruff, he calls the computer monitor trash. Like he's like, this looks like a trash can. And then they see all these books. It's like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then Chloe notes out, oh, they have this old computer game where you ride on a wagon and you get all these old diseases like dysentery.
Oh,
Word?
that game.
That game. I don't know how they found that interesting. Even I never found that interesting, but okay. So they see the books. It's like, oh my god, this is so cool. And then they know how like, oh, we can get information off these computers, and they're like, oh, you can't get as much information as we can because we're from the future, but you can still get information from these computers in 1994, which is not as much information that they can get. And it seems like the Ramses here are getting popular because I keep hearing their phone ring as much as my phone's going off, so I can't talk shit. So they notice a woman reading a book at the window with her, silhouette there. So Marv, being the charismatic ranger, he's like, yo, I'm gonna go up to this girl. Alright. And then Eddie follows suit. He's like, I'm gonna go with you. Because because Eddie's trying to stay focused on mission, but he's like, yo, I can flirt too. So they go up to her. And obviously, if you hear in the description, her dark silhouette is in the. She's reading. We all know as an audience from watching Power Rangers over the years, we know it's Scorpina. Yeah, so we know.
Like straight up concept, of course it is.
Like, we know. They don't know. So they go up to her, and Marv starts talking to her. He's like, "Hi, oh, what book are you reading? That looks very interesting." She goes, "I'm reading The Five Rings." So I'm thinking, is this chick reading Lord of the Rings?
No, there's a book in Japan called The Five Rings.
Trust me, there's a Lord of the Rings reference in this too, so we'll get to that. So he's like, "Oh, I've read that book. I like that book so much. I liked it just as much as the other book, The Four Rings." So he's just striking out with her. She's just like, she is not interested in him. He's just like,
I've never had that one.
So he's just like, "Oh, how you doing? I was trying to get some information. Wanted to know more about the library." Because it's like, it's weird to them. It's like so quiet. They got all these books and people just reading. It's weird to them. So he's trying to get information about Scorpina, trying to find out if this chick is Scorpina. But okay, we know that is her. So he struck out. Eddie goes, it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for my friend. We're new in town. He's like, you're really pretty and all that stuff." And it worked. So the charismatic guy struck out, but the nerd got the girl. So, yeah, to take a break from that for a second, I laughed a lot harder than it really should. It was really funny to me personally because that has happened to me. Where me and my friend would see a girl, and then I'll go, "Hey," I'm like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Jared." And she would just be like, "That's cute." My friend comes in and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry about my friend." And it works for him. I'm just like, so I'm looking at this episode, I'm like, oh, how much has that happened to me?
You don't know, tell us more. We want to hear about your...
Yeah, this is kind of fun.
Oh, well, I can't really recall because I haven't been flirting as much as I should be in a while. But yeah, no, that has happened to me in the past. And usually normally nowadays I would use that as a hook to hook my friend up. Be like, I'll be the over charismatic guy. She wouldn't take, and then my friend come in, swoop in, and save the day. But now I use that as a play. But back in the day, that thing would just happen out of nowhere. So I just felt like, oh, I know how Marv feels right now. So yeah, that was the thing. But unfortunately, I think it's because for for Scorpina, she can't really take over overly charismatic guys. She has to take over simpletons who doesn't really have the social cues to really talk to a girl. Unfortunately, is Eddie. Like, he can talk to girls, but he doesn't have what Marv has. That's what Scorpina feeds on. He feeds on that. I guess insecurity. You can say.
We've been talking for an hour.
Wow, it's gonna be a long video. Cut it short. Eddie fell under Scorpina's spell, and the Rangers got to get him back. So Vesper, she gets mad. She's like, "Yo, I'm about to go mess up this trick, and smash her face in if she don't get our friend back." And Marv rolled Peter rolled a good number to stop Vesper from causing a scene, because you're in a library and you're from the future. You can't really do anything like that. You gotta keep your cool. They're gonna get him back. Don't worry. And to play it safe, she goes at Scorpina, or as she's disguised as Sabrina, which I think she did to Adam in season 2, but that's for later on in the series. She goes, "This is my boyfriend. Back off, lady." And then she's like, "You shall not pass." So basically, they were saying, "Oh, we're referencing this Five Rings book, saying you shall not pass." That's what I'm thinking. This chick's reading Lord of the Rings, but as you said, Kev, there is a book called Five Rings. But I also wrote down here that Eddie might have a crush on Vesper, which it's slightly hinted at, but we could be wrong.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Scorpina reveals herself, and she's noted that she turned down the offer to the Alliance. She doesn't care about them. She doesn't care about Rita or Lord Zed. She's gonna rule this world for her own. Out of nowhere, dude named, I have his name somewhere here. I think this is the leader of the Alliance because he's whispering in her ear, but they can't see what's going on. His name is Volcanos, and I think that's the leader of the Alliance because it makes sense because his appearance is all burnt, a la Darth Vader.
I would like to put in my theory now.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like Dark Spectre.
Evil side Dark Spectre. Ooh, I like that.
That's a really tiny Dark Spectre, then.
But since the bad guy shows up, they have to fight off monsters. And the little side monsters they have to fight off are book monsters. What did Mark say?
Mark said that they redeemed Dark Spectre. That's a good villain.
Oh, that's messed up. That's messed up. He had his own movie, Mark. He had his own movie.
Yeah, was he actually called Dark Spectre?
We don't talk about the name. We don't talk about that, okay? Just notice that he had his own movie.
Alright.
Fine.
But they have to fight these book monsters, and like when they open up, they have like faces pop out and attack. So it made me think of Page Master.
Creepy though.
I mean, it makes sense because during that year, Page Master came out in theaters. So did the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
I did watch that movie.
Yeah, I have both on VHS somewhere.
Why didn't they have Power Ranger faces come out of the books?
I don't know. I don't think they're trying to copy season 3 from the Kaku Ranger villain Master Vile.
Another disappointing villain.
Yeah, but we're not gonna get to that.
At least.
Oh, so right after fighting off the monsters and winning the day, Marv learned an important lesson about teamwork, and he's trusting and honest with the Rangers. So he starts revealing his past, revealing that he was a Time Force officer, and Jack was his partner on the team. That he was kicked off, but he didn't say what he did to get him kicked off. But he knows that Jack ratted him out. So, lucky for Marv, Time Force was kind enough to give him a second chance and let him have this redeeming his redeeming classes. So he did community service and worked his way up. I mean, he's in the classes. That's why we found him in episode 1 in the classes of Time Force. And he already knew what to do because he was already a Time Force officer. So they're gonna.
Does Jack remember Marv?
Yeah, no, he gave him a nickname called the Marvelous Marv, which obviously we all know is because Peter chose that name because of Captain Marvelous from Gokaiger. Gokaiger Go Busters is like this dude knows a Sentai. And yeah, so at the end of the episode, the librarians pop up, open their heads like, oh my god, that was so scary. All these books just started attacking out of nowhere. And we saw a Blue Ranger, but it didn't look like the one we know. Mighty Morphin. They didn't know that. They didn't know. But, that's where the episode ended. So it felt like a by-the-numbers Power Rangers episode, but with some twists and turns. It actually elevated the story a bit and helped us learn more about Marv and his past. So, from that little long-winded discussion, what did you guys think of episode 3?
I think I really need to start watching those.
Yeah, you really do. Ryan?
I need to. I'm just a little bit behind, but I like what you said so far. You get a little closer to the Rangers now a little bit, so I like that.
Yeah, so now back to where I noted about the Mighty Morphin Rangers being off-planet, and Mark had a theory. So, Mark, what was your theory of why they were off-planet? Before I go to my theory.
I think since it's near the end of 1994, it makes me think that they're doing the whole
sort of like
Rider crossover.
No, that's 1995. That's 1995. I like that though, but no. This is when you weren't here for the beginning part, so I noted that this is the beginning of the White Ranger's career. He was still wearing a little bit hints of green with his white. So Tommy just came back as White Ranger, and episode 2, where they were in Halloween, is the episode Zed's Monster Mash, but it's a little bit confusing now because I have a theory. Since the Mighty Morphin Rangers are off-planet, they're either dealing with Zed's Monster Mash episode, or they're dealing with the episode Sword of Light, i.e. that little Steve reference from Stone Canyon from earlier, but I do note that, yeah, they're off-planet because they're probably getting the Sword of Light so they can transfer the powers from Jason, Zack, and Trini to Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. But it's like, they're like a few days to a week or two away from the 3, Jason, Trini, and Zack, going off to the Peace Conference. So, like, I don't know. The timeline is different for Power Rangers, but I think they're probably either getting the Sword of Light or they're doing something different, or this probably is taking place in the Mighty Morphin Boom Studios comics. So they're probably dealing with Lord Draken or something. So we have 2 to 3 theories right now. They're either dealing with the Halloween stuff from Zed's Monster Mash, or they're off getting this Sword of Light, or they're off dealing with Lord Draken. But the way I noted that White Ranger exists right now. So. But I think we're going to wrap up here. So, audience, tell us, where do you think the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are? Sound off in the comments below if you think they're dealing with Zed's monsters coming out for Halloween, or do you think they're off getting the Sword of Light so that they can, transfer the powers so that Zack, Trini, and Jason can go off to the Peace Conference? Or do you think they're dealing with Lord Draken, even though it makes no sense during the time of the Power Rangers' career, this is all happening? And what did you guys think of episodes 2 and 3 of Power Rangers Hyperforce? Did you enjoy it? Will you continue to watch it? And if so, make sure you go to twitch.tv/Hyper RPG and check it out every Tuesday, 6 to 9 Pacific Standard Time.
So that period, Dungeons and Dragons, it's like RPG, so it's
Yeah.
Could run a little long.
If you guys like Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs and tabletop games, you will enjoy this a lot. And before we go, Hyper RPG, if you are watching this, please either send us this game so we can play it of our own volition, or I don't know, go to Telltale and try to make this into a legit video game for us to play. Or, hear me out. You already have the designs, you have the story. Like, either let us animate it, or let us help animate this series into an actual Power Rangers series. Because it, like, just watching it and listening to it just makes me think this could be a legit episode of Power Rangers every week. Or it could be out on Netflix or Hulu. Everyone can just stream and binge it. Like my fellow Henshin Game members, if this series was an actual animated series on like Netflix or Hulu, would you binge it?
It's sounding good so far.
I don't really have enough time to binge 3-hour episodes, but if they start shortening the length down to like an hour,
well, it's only 3 hours because they have to explain their moves. But if their moves are all already there, animated and whatnot, so I'm guessing it would be like a 30-minute to 45-minute episode. Would you sit there and watch it?
45 minutes.
Yeah. Like Hyper RPG, throw us a bone, please. I want this game so bad in any way possible, and it'd be a physical tabletop game, video game, or animation. Like oh my god, these are Hyper RPG. Just give us something.
We love it.
We love it that much. Other than that, I'm gonna continue watching every week, and I'm gonna go back and watch again, take notes, so we can come up with these discussions. And to be on that note, we're not gonna be doing these discussions week by week because unfortunately we have other things to do, especially within this month and then upcoming months for the rest of the year. But we will be doing this every other week. So we'll be reviewing 2 episodes apiece, like we're doing here, and yeah, let us know what you think. If you can sit down and listen to us talk and consume this within the time it is there. I think that's all I got. You guys have any last words?
No.
No?
Just can't wait till next week.
Yeah. We got a phone call, and I got to go because we got to edit some stuff, and we got some more videos to make, i.e. part 3 of our 2NE1 video will be out. Yeah, no. Spoiler alert, Ryan's not going to be in part 3 of our 21 react. But, we're still going to have it out. It's going to be out on the 21st. Be on the lookout for that, and some other good videos along the within the month. And, yeah. We will catch you guys later. Peace.
See ya.